Hey guys, this is Serzey from the family, and welcome to the DPS guide for beginning raiding. In this video, I'm going to discuss pretty much what you need to know since you're at 85, what you need to do in order to get your DPS better, and maybe some things you could do to um, better your DPS or guide you in the right direction, because there's so many DPS classes, it's hard to cover all the classes. So what I'm going to do is pretty much go over go over general things every class should do. Okay, first off, I want you to understand that DPS is, well, it's the bread and butter of raiding heroics. You know, without DPS, you're not going to down any bosses. Now, down any bosses, they're going to get any loot. Everybody gets angry. Everybody throws shoes, a lot of shoes, and you, DPS is something you really need to take seriously. Um, all because you think you know what you're doing, you may not know exactly what you're doing. You know, you might be doing something wrong here or there, and your DPS could be so much better. So it's important to know, you know, what exactly you're doing, what you can do to get better. Be a sponge. You know, always be a sponge, and take any advice you can get. You know, never think that you know everything, because with every patch that comes out, with expansions that come out, and any update, it's going to change how your class plays, no matter what it is, whether it's a rogue, shaman, mage, warlock. It doesn't matter. It's going to change per patch. And it's important to make peace with that now rather than later. Okay, first off, I want to tell you about a website. For every class, whether you be tanking, healing, DPS, but in this video for DPS, you need to be accustomed to EliteStrix. EliteStrix.com is a great theory crafting website for every class for DPS, and it'll let you know exactly what's going on with your classes, what specs are good, what glyphs you should be going for, how you should be gymming, how you should be gearing. It's all very important, and they're able to go with you and step by step of your class from the time you've hit 85. You're able to see what you need to be doing. Uh, like for example, for rogue, I'm an assassination rogue, and only because the top DPS right now for a rogue is assassination, and you can be combat, but it doesn't matter because combat doesn't pull as much DPS as assassination. And it's important to make peace right now that, let's say you're a class and your spec isn't all that good, which means, you know, let's say you are a combat rogue and you like being combat, you like using big swords, you know, like ooh swords, I like to use swords, but in reality you're not pulling as much DPS and you need to be assassination. Now, I can understand you don't want people to tell you how to play the game. I can understand that. I wouldn't want people to tell me how to play the game either. But to benefit your raid, to benefit your heroic, you need to be at the top of your game. And I feel that if you have to change a spec as opposed to a class, that's better. You know, because I don't think anybody wants to reroll a class just to do better DPS. You want to your class and do the most out of your class. So if that means you have to spec down another tree, then so be it. Next off, what I want to do is take you to the training dummies. Make these your friend. Okay, I'm going to load up my UI here. Go up to the old top. Doop doop doo. Yep. Doop doo. Going outside. Okay. It's important that once you hit 85, you need to become accustomed to these. Make these your friend. They will tell you everything you need to know about your DPS, where it stands, and whether or not, like, your DPS, your rotation, it's at the top of its game. And as opposed to, yeah, you think you know what you're doing, and you actually get to see the results on the dummies. You know, especially if you download a recount from curse.com, you can see your DPS. You can see if it's improving. You can see pretty much if you're improving as a player as far as your DPS. You see everybody's out here testing their DPS, even though there's hunters over there. Look at them being so OP. Nobody likes you. But anyway, you really just want to be out here a lot as DPS, constantly improving your rotation, making yourself better, and understanding that, you know, as you know, this is an early stage in the expansion. You know, it's not going to be all that good. You know, your DPS is going to be a mixture of good and bad. Then once you're able to get better gear through heroics and through raiding, your DPS is going to go through the roof, and you're gonna be enjoying the game a lot more, I think. because you got this visual stimuli that, hey, I'm doing better. And that's what everybody wants to see. Okay, next thing. As soon as you're at 85, you're going to be wanting to run normals to get your 85 gear. And you're want to get your item level 333 item level gear. And eventually, you'll be wanting to work up into heroics and then into rating. And this is the gear progression. You're going from general 333 item level gear to 346 to 359, all these things. And these are progression marks that you have to make amends with. Because just like in Wrath, you know, you think, oh, I'm gonna get all this epic gear, hit 85, yeah, epics, loots, get those loots. It doesn't work that way anymore. You're gonna be in a lot of greens, a lot of blues on the 85, and then when you start in the heroics, you're gonna be all in blues, and by the time you're rating, you might have some epics. And to get epics in Kata right now, it's going to come from a mixture of crafted items, you know, from the AH, blacksmith, leather workers, or reputation grinds. And just like Zod said in his video, reputation grinds are absolutely essential to getting quality gear, and you know, you want to better yourself. You always want to better your DPS. You always want to do everything you can to, because you are trying to better yourself in order to better the raid, to better the DPS, to down the boss faster, and healers don't hate you because you're taking forever to kill the boss. So it's important, very, very important, to do your reputation grinds, to do your normals, to do your heroics, get all the gear you need to do optimal DPS. Another thing too, like I can understand you don't want to run every normal, every heroic, you know, because some you just don't want to do. So pick up an add-on called Atlas Loot. An Atlas Loot is going to tell you exactly what instance drops what items. You can see Shot and Keep. Ooh, let's see what loots. Oh, leather feet. I want that. So you're going to be wanting Shot and Keep. Things like that. You know, being able to prioritize what gear you need to do. You know, what gear you need. And you know, the quicker you get gear, the better DPS is going to be, and you know, you'll be getting to rating quicker. One question that's always been asked to me for a very long time is PvP gear good for DPS? And the answer to that is, well, yes. It is good, but only if you don't load yourself down. Let me go in here where it's a little bit darker. There's not a lot of people, because I hate this. Look at that. He's a gnome. Don't like him at all. But anyway, let's go over here. Turn around, make it all dramatic-y looking, because y'all know it's what you people love dramatics. So I'm open my character frame here. As you see, I have the neck for PvP, I have the shoulders, I have the bracers, and I have a ring, all from PvP. And this is because my class, when reforged correctly, you can use PvP gear. Like for a rogue, for example, you only need hit, you need mastery. And you can reforge that in all these pieces. If I have expertise on this piece, you know, I just reforged it up for hit. Tons of hit. And you see, let's see, bracers, you know, some of the haste turned into hit. And I bring up these points of these stats to go into my next topic of stats. Now for DPS, and this has been true since vanilla, which I guess it didn't really matter in vanilla because, well, these stats really didn't exist in vanilla in a way. Nobody really cared. You hit the hardest hitting button, and that pretty much was your DPS. But for every class, you got to make a priority of hit rating. Hit rating is number one. You cannot hit a boss, you're not going to kill it. So it is important that you have hit cap. Now from there, your classes are going to differ. Excuse me. You're going to have classes that need more haste, that need mastery, that need crit. Every one of them's different. And that's why you go to Leaders Jerks and do your research. It's important that you keep up with all the blue posts, all the Leaders Jerks threads, and they're going to guide you in the best way to DPS for your class, how to gem, how to glyph, how to stat. It's just going to be a lot better for you once you have a better understanding of your class. Going to 85, you probably won't know it entirely. You'll know how to level, but you won't know how to raid. And I hope to, here before long, I'll get to another video of raiding 101 that we're going to do to prepare you for raiding. But I hope this guide was a little bit helpful. I know I kind of drifted off there a little bit on some topics. But for DPS, it's really going to come down to rating. It's going to be excuse me, I just totally goofed myself up. It's going to come down to research. You have to do a lot of research. If you do not do your research on your class, you think you know everything, you're not going to do well at all. To be frankly honest, if you think you know everything, chances are you don't. And if you're able to be a sponge and learn everything you can, you're going to be a better class. You're going to be a better person. You're going to play better, and it'll show a lot about you. And I hope this guide was somewhat helpful. Like I said, I know I did drift off, but I hope you was able to take some of this and transfer it over to your class, and hope that it all works out for you. This is Serzey from the family, and I do hope that if you have any questions, comments, concerns, that you'll message me in-game or leave me a comment below. And I urge you to go check out Zod's tanking video and Faw's healing video. Both are very informative about healing and tanking. And I know I was just kind of the stupid brother of all these guys. Because, well, I made a live video and I'm just improvising because it's Super Bowl Sunday. But anyway, guys, hope you liked it. I'm going to come out with more videos later on to, I guess, broaden this subject of DPS, but also of rating and what you need to do. But guys, hope you liked it, and take care.